1v1, so definitely some better than expected results, basically, from those guys and from the off-season changes. We'll see if they can keep it going, and if we can keep this kind of quick pace going that we're talking about, knocking down outer turrets very early, and trying to snowball those gold leads.
Don't forget in the top lane as well for Clutch, Solo is also a newer guy to the league as well, so certainly two new top laners battling here, but mid lane bans there for Clutch, very focused. Ryze, Taliyah, and Malzahar all taken away. Zoe as the 4th mid lane champion. Galio actually makes it 5.
All right, where's the Emperor? Pastry, there's one left.
Does he make sense? There he is. All right, 6
I got him.
mid lane bans in phase 1.
Bingo! Honestly, though, this is sick. All mid lane bans. We now get to see more mid laners. We're going to get some diversity here. Woo. So let's start snowballing, because, yeah, okay, Varus, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's a very common pick. Honestly, you're a mid lane player, though.
Yes.
So I've been pretty hyped on Xerath currently. Xerath and Vel'Koz, because I'm in love with the long-range wave clear for competitive play. Now, both those champions, a lot of the pro players have voiced concerns about the vulnerabilities of them. You know, getting ganked, they don't build a lot of health. They also don't have their own escapes. So those are two options that provide some interesting options for the strategies that you have to play around. Yes, they have these very big strengths of long-range damage and wave clear, and you have to protect the weaknesses.
I think, unfortunately, if this is the lock-in, then maybe it's going to shut down. Evelyn, very good at ganking those mages, but it is Sejuani paired with the Kog'Maw there for Cloud9.
Sejuani deceptively good at ganking the mid lane with her ultimate. The speed of the projectile, you can actually catch a lot of mid laners off guard, either get their flash with it, or at least get a stun landed.
Pretty safe, though. Actually, both solos picked there for Clutch, and all 3 of their carries locked in. Varus, GP, and Orianna are their first 3 picks. So
we're not getting crazy yet.
No, not yet.
But we are at least branching out. Orianna, we've seen it a bunch already, but it has been fairly standard for most people, unless there's the new on the team, or you're going the Power Beetle route and building a Nashor's Tooth.
Now this I loved. Cloud9 have shown so much diversity in their drafts, and again, the strength of their players and their willingness to do different things is part of that. You have 7 mid laners effectively banned away from Jensen, and they're like, no, pick Gnar, we're fine. We're totally fine.
Jensen doesn't care. Ban 2 more mid laners, please.
Well, there's Zac ban, so I like that one as far as ganking the mid lane goes, taking a good tank jungler away from LirA. But we'll see if Clutch just keep firing away at those mid lane pools. I mean, Syndra's an obvious one.
Syndra and Zilean, I think, might be the 2, because we have seen the Zilean already from Jensen. But honestly, they very clearly do not care if there's 2 more dropped into it, and it seems like they have, again, practiced another off-meta pick. And I really do like this about Reaper. So many times, not just in the North American LCS, by the way, even at Worlds, he's one of the coaches that has really pushed for crafting specific counter picks and specifically less used champions, right? They've been one of the teams to really branch out into those other strategies. Grave Jungle, the Zilean pick was one of the first ones that we saw around, into specifically the Malzahar, and into teams that are looking for dives.
And there's Jarvan banned as well, so a jungler with the expected Syndra ban also happening. Orianna also kind of blocks Cassio as another pick, so you kind of go down the list, and there aren't that many viable, in air quotes, mid laners for Jensen to pick, but he's clearly confident in that he has something to play here, and I think Licorice getting a nod with the more powerful champion in Gnar, so prioritizing the newer member of the team is also a nice facet of this draft. There's Aurelion Sol, by the way, so that is basically 8 mid lane bans.
I love that. It feels like they're just throwing eggs at the wall still, trying to see if they can hit the last one, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to collect them all. As you said, Cassiopeia is still very much a viable option, and if you're looking at the champ select they have already set before them, with Sejuani and Gnar, they've got very beefy frontline, but they needed something else to complement this Kog'Maw backline, and Cassiopeia plus Kog'Maw are the double machine gun backline, basically. Cassiopeia, being able to spam out her Qs after someone is poisoned, and Kog'Maw, self-explanatory as far as that one goes. So they have been able to line that one up. Meanwhile, let's talk about Clutch Gaming. On their side, the GP, very much a prized pick. And you set up this matchup of Solo versus Licorice, the 2 guys from Challenger who met in the finals. And Solo actually did very well there. And he's the one with the GP. We've seen this matchup over and over into Gnar. And the Gnar, on average, should be able to pressure the GP, should be able to get an early CS lead. However, we've seen GP players outplay it as well. So that is still an option, and we'll keep track of how well Solo can do in this kind of rematch with Licorice in the top side.
Jungle matchup will matter here as well. 2 junglers were banned, so LirA falls back to Gragas. As Clutch pick him and Taric as their last 2. Not the most aggressive support 2v2 for their Varus lane. I actually expected Braum, but we'll see what happens here. And actually counterpick saved for Smoothie. See if he has something here in the bot lane. It's probably not Blitzcrank, unfortunately. I'm just as sad as everyone else is. Could be Bud.
Well, let's try and take a look at what they need. Okay, well, we don't have time. Honestly, though, the hard engage that you're looking for, right? That would be a follow-up to Sejuani or a setup for Sejuani. Svenskeren with the ultimate, he's actually been quite good this season. He got Stixay a bunch of times in key team fights there, finding ults onto carries. But it makes it a lot easier when you have an Alistar kind of dive buddy situation that people always like to talk about. It also gives you more freedom to kind of choose timings. When you have Gnar up there, you kind of have to work around the rage bar, so that's always up in there. Meanwhile, Clutch Gaming, they've got a very good counter in the Taric. We just saw Team Liquid displaying the power of a well-timed Taric ultimate for team fights. And that is going to have to be in combination with LirA on the Gragas, using his displacement and trying to really control the AoE here from Cloud9's double machine gun backline, trying to get the Cassiopeia and the Kog'Maw into a more vulnerable spot.
I like the Taric is also protecting, a big carry like Gangplank. We often talk about Lulu as making bruiser champions tanky champions with their ultimate. Taric makes everyone tanky, but only for a very short period of time. So you need to kind of get involved and get your damage down. It's going to be tough, but certainly a lot of fun matchups across the board. I do love that Jensen just fell to Cassio. He's like, I don't care that it's considered a count. I'm just playing it after 10 mid lane bans, actually, if you include the pick of Orianna.
Jensen definitely showing off his champion pool, and Clutch Gaming here going to try and show off some good timings. So I think there is a lot more leeway in the Cloud9 composition as far as pulling off team fights. Clutch Gaming definitely have a very high ceiling if they're able to execute, GP barrel chains and Taric timing there with the invulnerabilities. But it is going to take some precise, combinations of those skills from the CG side.
I think certainly a good test of the total coordination for both these sides. Clutch Gaming especially are still kind of figuring things out as a team despite having a lot of good pieces. Getting them together isn't that easy, but we're getting a third of the way through the regular season, so the time is now to start ramping up and picking up those wins. It looks like everyone just spread out here. No spellbook shenanigans either, unfortunately, Kobe. I can't see any extra smites. In fact, I see
spellbook on LirA.
Spellbook.
Yeah, spellbook on LirA there for the Gragas. Biggest thing about Gragas, they did nerf his jungle clear, which made a lot of people go away from him. That's why we saw a lot less Gragas in the last month or whatever. But then once people started playing competitive again, they really got to, again, value the engages. Body slam flash from him is so ridiculously hard to deal with because a lot of people have just decided to take the option of flashing early when they see Gragas start the body slam at them because of the instant nature of him being able to transfer over once he started that and get the engage knockup. So now with Spellbook, LirA is going to have not only a lower cooldown smite for his actual clear to try and help with that clearing problem, but he'll also be able to pull off the flash Gragas moves that you take this champion for.
We'll have to see how this develops. But a quick reminder, tweet us your questions for Freak, Azael, and Cyrene to answer during NALCS tonight using the hashtag NALCS after the show tonight. So certainly get your questions in on Twitter and, ask some questions.
Yeah, ask some tough ones for
definitely.
me. Try and stump them, come up with some equations for them to solve. I like to see them sweat.
It's funny how you're saying that, not on NALCS.
Yeah, this is the one night where I'm not on, so I want to put them to the test. See what they got.
Well, checking with this top lane matchup, we are expecting quite a lot here, actually. All the way back to the bot side. Yep, it's Smoothie going in. Good defensive dazzle there from Hakuho. That kind of calls off the rest of that play. Apollo, though, does take some damage just from Smoothie getting in there with the headbutt pulverized combo.
Yeah, letting them know. I have Aftershock. Here's the taste. Sejuani here with the footwork for Svenskeren does help out with your clear. And you can see he actually saved the extra potion chug for a long time there. He has started out with the Talisman. Now, a lot of Sejuanis started switching over to the Hunter's Machete, and that would kind of restrict you to clearing single target camps. And the Raptor was kind of a no-no early on, as you take a lot of damage and not be able to leech off them. But as you can see, Svenskeren was able to clear that Raptor camp because he started Talisman, had the AoE leech. Meanwhile, Jensen getting chased off.
Yeah, this is a struggle actually right now. Febiven really harassing Jensen's Cassio down here. You can see Orianna doing a lot of work. And Jensen is playing with very little mana and not that much respect.
It's an interesting point to bring up the mana, because we've seen a lot of Cassiopeias going with precision secondary for the mana on level up rune, excuse me, and using that to kind of, quote unquote, cheese people. But as you can see there, Febiven was trying to take down the health of the Cassiopeia, and you can have, unlimited mana after you level up for 7 seconds and, try and spam your spells out. But if you don't have the health to go for that trade, you kind of nullify the usefulness of the early game of that rune, where Cassiopeia players have started to try and take advantage. She is one of the best at taking advantage, obviously, because the low cooldown on her E-spam after you land a poison.
Yeah, we can see Febiven, though, just getting the wave pushed back in, trying to deny a few CS. Jensen did take the opportunity to back, but has a big wave to deal with now. So Febiven continues to harass down using those combos, and looks like he'll take his back relatively soon. And
you can see it there. The mana bar goes white after the level up. That means he would freely be able to spam out his spells. But again, wave placement there for Febiven was under control, and Jensen had no opportunity to go for a trade. In addition to being down level 425.
Febiven back as a result. Smoothie back in with a stun onto Hakuho. Slams in with the trample. But Hakuho getting low, gonna chug those potions, and Relic Shield his way back up. Jensen looks like he's taking another recall. Looks like Tear of the Goddess is on the way, as Febiven returns with his own mana item here. Last chapter, as very kind LirA freezes and pulls the wave as best he can for Febiven. He's there to get the CS, so
perfect leeching, able to get the assist on the minion kill there. Mid laners really do appreciate that wave control, and you can see Febiven with a decent CS lead building up, even though it's not manifesting that big quite yet. He still has the minion wave right in front of his turret, so it's perfect positioning. And you touched on a little bit in Champ Select base when you talk about the classic.
Uh-oh, going back in. Stun lining up. Hakuho slaps. Sneaky exhausted. Hakuho, though, with no mana. Sneaky's just free to deal damage.
Yeah. End of the trade here is going to be Varus trying to get off some extra damage to even it up on the supports. But again, Hakuho at the health deficit down on the bottom side is going to have to play back into the brush. And that means it makes it harder for Apollo to move up in the lane as the minions are moving against him, or away from him, and he's going to have a harder time respecting that Alistar all in. Kind of frustrating there, and they're actually going to force a recall on bottom side.
But Solo TP'd back as well, so Licorice holds on to his. Should have a decent back here as he gets Ninja Turbo, playing very defensive actually here in the top lane. With fleet footwork there as well, not merely rushing for those early phases and trying to bully Solo down early. Nice shockwave though. Jensen only level 6, oh sorry, level 5, not level 6, Febiven though. Just some harassment down. Jensen now flashing with his ultimate ready, and that will call Orianna off.
Using the Airy rune here for Febiven to really exacerbate the issue that Orianna versus Cassiopeia brings up, where Febiven's doing a very good job with his ball control, continually going for the Q movements to harass Jensen when he was going in for the minions. And that's how Febiven's been able to eke out this small lead, which is very important at the pro level. Now we're going to see Svenskeren walk across the ward into LirA's hands. LirA's going to want to exit the area so that Svenskeren doesn't see him waiting there until his mid laner collapses. Top lane could come as well.
Smoothie's actually here as well. Hello, surprise cow. Oh, the blast go knocks it back over. First blood delivered, maybe on a silver platter. Jensen's also here. He's going to collect the kill as no, he's not. It's a ruse. Svenskeren with the first blood.
You got to give the clap there. Golf claps for Smoothie. Very nice roam play. LirA goes for the invade on the back timing of bottom lane, and this is something that you have to have for early game communication. Bottom lanes, when the supports are things like Alistar and Taric walking around, they need to be notified that top side of the map could have Smoothie over here. So he plays this perfectly. Goes in, gets the stun combo onto LirA, so LirA has no options of moving away from the blast cone. He then autos it to scare him deeper in their own territory. They have the mid lane collapse as well. It was just perfect, honestly, for Cloud9 right there as they secure that first blood.
Febiven was shoving the wave and got there first and had to bail because Smoothie's timing was just so impeccable. So very well played. Nice from LirA to smite the red buff to deny Jensen the first blood goal, but Svenskeren will certainly take it.
Yeah, definitely one of those things where bottom lane from Clutch Gaming was forced into some weird recalls because of those trades, right? So they're kind of worried about their own back timings and didn't quite notify that Smoothie could be around. Sneaky there on Kog'Maw, gets the 1v2, activate your W, and just get off the trade.
Yep, Smoothie also trying to walk out the dazzle range, but can't quite do it. Might just walk back in, ready with a stun. And onto Hakuho, but again, just harassing slowly and steadily. I mean, how far forward these two are playing in the lane has been kind of the story of their early weeks of the NALCS this year.
All right, Svenskeren going to go for an invade of his own. Looks to be a warding expedition here.
For now, might turn into a smite fight. Although GP's here first, solo roaming away.
Double solo lane collapses. Now Sven is the one on the wrong side, but he goes for solo.
Yep, still going. In fact, Licorice over there. Good blast going pop. Licorice flash ult, gonna miss solo. Able to flash his way out of there.
Yeah, not quite as clean that time around. LirA, though, trying to sneak the Gromp while Svenskeren is still there, but he's got the previous ward, so he can continue the counter invade and increase his experience lead.
And again, Jensen, despite being a bit down in CS, is able to hold Febiven here in this lane. He's trying to get a personal advantage here. Gonna take these minions down though. Febiven keeps the pressure up, and here's Svenskeren. Kog'Maw's got flash. Febiven should be okay here.
All right, well, there is a flash.
Oh, maybe not.
And in a row.
Smoothie says, no, you're not okay. Headbutt back, my Asper is great. We're going to try and chain him into the W. Oh my God, Svenskeren with another kill. Smoothie sets it up again.
Yeah, he is not okay. Gonna have
you think Flash Cleanse Orianna is perfectly fine in that situation. Well, they made a liar out of me.
What can you say? Unlucky, huh?
Very unlucky.
Honestly, though, Smoothie, as you said, roams right up. They're going to be able to secure the dragon right afterwards. And that was the point of power for Clutch Gaming. You know, the mid lane, Febiven was doing very well in the matchup, punishing and trying to increase that CS lead. But with this play, it is all gone. So tries to run down into the fog of war, but 3 seconds prior, Smoothie had already started the roam up the mid lane here. And this is, again, the coordination that we've talked about with this Cloud9 squad that they've really had on display so early in the season. Nets them another advantage, and they're able to pincer Febiven here for another kill, as well as the early Mountain Drake.
Yep, CS lead dissipates as well as a result of that play. So Jensen now all caught up, getting his mana items building. Looks like Abyssal Mask is on the way as his first completed item. Febiven though still working strong, Sorkshu's done. Shouldn't be too far off that Morellonomicon if he keeps up this pace. As Sven trying to donate this blue buff over. LirA looking to make his own invade, but takes the blast cone away. Jensen does lose the blue. Looks like Hakuho pressure as well forces Sven to take it for himself. So a little victory there.
Definitely true. And the little victories are what they got to look for at the moment. It's not an insurmountable lead here for Clutch Gaming to come back, but it is unfortunate that their mid lane point of power was kind of neutralized there in the last play. Now you can also take a look at the wards, because the map has kind of been split. Licorice on the top side for Cloud9. You can see all the red wards that have been planted up here to try and help him go for the offensive matchup. You know, he has the Gnar. He's trying to complete his Black Cleaver here and get some punishment on GP, but since Solo has farmed fairly well and gotten up to his Trinity Force already, he's just going to look for the classic GP barrel, clearing out minion waves, and he could lend his ultimate to the other side of the map for support in a sort of kind of counter initiation and try and help out the rest of the map if there is some sort of Cloud9 aggression.
Yep, kind of going as expected there in top lane. Been isolated for those two, but Solo keeping up in farm nicely. Licorice just trying to apply pressure. You're just left of mid lane there, but Svenskeren already invaded onto those Raptors. So again, pretty big point of parity as far as the push goes, but Jensen feeling a bit more confident to play up now that he's gotten a few more items and a bit more farm.
Meanwhile, speaking of farm, bottom lane going to exchange the waves. Clutch Gaming should be able to clean that up nicely afterwards. And the other half of the map that we didn't touch on with the warding was all of the wards Clutch Gaming spent on bottom side. The Dragon's actually not coming up for quite a while, so all these extra control wards and the deep vision that they have is a good first step, but it's kind of difficult to defend. And I'm very curious to see the next couple of steps here for Clutch Gaming to see if they are really able to make use of the vision investment that they've made on this bottom side, or if they're just going to kind of use it to keep them safe. Currently, Cloud9 already off to another roam here, as they've sent Smoothie top and Sneaky back down bottom by himself. As you can see in the base, though, Hakuho now for Clutch Gaming trying to answer and get up to the top side of the map.
Yep, he's got some magical footwear, but that's not going to outrun the Moby Boots, as Smoothie's actually already booking it back towards the bot lane. Licorice has done a nice job getting that turret low, but looks like they didn't want to overcommit to that play. Instead, they consolidate here to the Rift Herald and just try and more slowly play this mid-game.
Yep, Cloud9 going to pick up the extra objective here. As you said, they have the vision control on that top side. And the bottom side vision did see Smoothie roaming back, so that's why we saw Hakuho altering his path there, heading back down to help out Apollo, continue their CS. Rift Herald picked up with no confrontation. Svenskeren able to claim the eye.
Damage they can get done with it, but they're still playing pretty far up. That Mountain Drake that C9 got as their first early Drake is going to help him knock down that turret 1v1 solo. It's about keeping up in gold. Can't really stop Gnar from just power pushing, especially if Cloud9 are doing a nice job covering their top laner.
Yeah, part of this matchup here from Gnar into Gangplank, why it's so common is that, you know, people, they use the Gnar mini form for whittling down the Gangplank, you know, while he's trying to farm early, but a lot of the threat is from the Mega Gnar transformation. Yes, GP does have removed Scurvy to try and get out of CC, but Gnar, since he has 3 forms, actually, he might be a face check here.
Sneaky dazzle. That Smoothie just going to run interference.
Gnar, since he has 3 forms, with the Gnar, the Crunch, as well as the Boulder Slows, is able to engage on Gangplank and prep him for dives very effectively. That's why Solo has to respect the possibility of Cloud9, you know, sending more members up there and trying to dive when the turret is this low, because that is a very powerful objective, getting that first turret bonus gold.
Yep, you can see Licorice also doing a nice job hitting down the barrels. Doesn't get that one, so turret's going to stay up for one more wave. Solo, though, no ulti. So if he leaves, will not be able to protect this turret from going down. And again, the focus from Clutch is down towards the mid and bottom sides of the map. Been a very isolated 1v1 here, but that should bear fruit for Licorice. Good scoop back in. Just going to try and bait Solo out. Wallop looking. Doesn't find it. Solo, though, did use his oranges.
Yeah, that's kind of the combo we talked about, though, with the 3 forms of CC from Gnar. Goes in, able to get the Gnar scoop back. Pretty big trade right there. Even though he lands the slow, Solo is able to get out and heal a little bit back up, but he's constantly looking. Is there someone else here? You know, he only has his own single ward protecting him, and they haven't actually had deep vision on Sven for a decent amount.
And this should be the turret. Licorice actually steps forward, dodges that first barrel on the wave, stays up long enough to get in that first turret. Now actually the chase could be on Solo. No one there to help him. He's got his flash. He burns the ultimate. Licorice goes back in again. Good flash from Solo. Licorice does follow. He wants it. Boulder toss. Gonna try and go in. No help at all. Oh, the wallop. Immune by the stasis, but Licorice just puts the ward down, slaps him around, and goodbye, Solo. You get soloed.
Licorice comes out on top in the rematch for Challenger Series, but
Febiven, Shockwave, no, can't get it. Gonna keep chasing though. Febiven does have flash ulti, but Licorice is gonna keep running. Good flash, ulti lands, Licorice goodbye. Febiven finally gets the trade.
Nobody kills my top laner and gets away with it.
Well, your mid lane's gonna die as a result. The Rift Herald, summoned by Svenskeren, he and Jensen will knock down this outer turret.
Yep, Shelly gonna pound away, and they actually are gonna get a second charge off onto the secondary turret. There's nobody there to clear this out, and it should be 2 for Cloud9.
Yep, gonna look for the second turret. Solo running straight to mid lane, but Febiven stays to try and take the outer turret. LirA is coming down from the river, but they're gonna lose this turret. Shelly just a little too much health left as that turret falls.
Cloud9 get 2. Clutch Gaming looking to get 1 turret, but the
might not even get it.
Just keep on chaining here. Teleport goes, though.
Yeah, Licorice says no. He's actually trying to get revenge. Febiven's got no flash after that play. Licorice says, come here, boy. He's got the Black Cleaver. He's dancing around, but Febiven is going to make a go of it. The TP also in as Licorice about to pop Mega. 1v2 outplay as Solo. He wants revenge for the revenge. Now LirA goes in. Damage boosted away. Licorice now covered by Jensen. Should be safe.
Nice play there from Licorice. Holds on to the hop until after the barrel's been thrown. Gets to the safe side. And we have a couple of teleports used on the top side. shouldn't be any further damage onto the Cloud9 top turret, as they need to stabilize here from the Clutch Gaming side. Svenskeren's already on the move to the outnumbered duo.
Here comes the gank. Svenskeren being very patient here, waiting for the wave. Goes in now, tries to dodge. So Dazzle, great ulti, gets Hakuho. But not enough. They'll take the turret, though.
No damage in place, even though he's able to dodge Dazzle, land the ultimate. There is no DPS. Turret's going to go down for it, though. And Cloud9, as we said, they've got the fastest full outer turret ring kill time of any North American LCS team. Now they've been able to get all 3 in this game, in addition to the secondary turret in mid lane. So extra bonus points there for them as far as pushing the early speed.
Also adding Ocean Drake, got the second Drake in and amongst that passage of play. So 2 Drakes to 0 is always a good score as far as the total objectives go. And Licorice is being very stubborn in his defense of his top outer turret.
Yeah, and stubborn is a decent word, right? Even when the teleport was there, he stays with it to try and waste a lot of their time and draw more resources. He doesn't immediately panic, back off, oh no, Gangplank is coming. He trades heavily with Febiven. They're able to kite it out. They even drop.
All right. 2 didn't work. Time to bring 3.
And one of them's going to come from behind. So looks like Clutch Gaming started early.
Still running, but a good ult there from Solo. Again, the hyper speeder, but it's about to go mega. There's the ult from Orianna. Febiven grabs the kill.
You'll always remember this as the day Captain Licorice did not get away, as they finally sent 3 at the same time, and they were able to finally kill him. Bottom side, though, they are going to give up. Because they sent 3 members on top side, Cloud9 will try and answer.
That's a big loss in tempo, though. Again, C9 able to pressure yet another tier 2 turret. Sneaky just free firing. Oh, Krug's even interfere. Going to take those while he's at it. So they'll have to back off the siege, but Sven is there to cover the tier 2 in top lane as Licorice is back off the respawn. And again, the advantages just keep piling on here. 2 items done for Sneaky. Apollo not far behind, but you can just see total map-wise how much Clutch Gaming are losing. Still, though, the strength builds. Febiven still had a good lane for himself, a bit behind in gold, but will be more than relevant when these team fights do start. LirA's tournament almost finished for him, as the 2 components just waiting on the completion. And perhaps around the Baron, or maybe that next Drake, although an Ocean usually doesn't incite too much action. CG have the teamfight potential and the damage to win a teamfight if they can set it up properly. And I think the worry for me is that Licorice, especially now finishing that promo, means that the side lane pressure that he can apply with the map being so open just creates more problems than you really have answers for currently.
I like that abbreviation here.
Promo?
Frozen Mallet, yeah. Took me a second. I've never heard that one before.
That's an oceanic special, Kobe.
Freak always calls frozen yogurt Froyo. So I just imagine now this mallet covered in frozen yogurt, and that's how it slows people down.
That's it.
They get all sticky.
Don't tell them the secrets. That's the law we It's fine.
I really do like looking back at what we were talking. Oh, never mind.
All right, let's look forward to this. Hakuho going to get put in the bounce house. Ulti down, a little late. Already burned the flash, but deal with it. Sunglasses come down. He'll be invulnerable for that. And play continues. Jensen, looking for something spicy, decides to call it off.
Immediate Baron pinks here from Cloud9, because I was about to talk about looking at the timings on these ultimates and the precision that you're looking for with the Clutch Gaming combination here. But now that there's no Taric ultimate, no Varus ultimate, and no Gragas ultimate, Cloud9 trying to pressure them and lure them into a bit of a bait here around Baron.
Well, no vision, but Clutch playing carefully. Svenskeren does clear out the rest of that vision. Sneaky shows on top side, so Clutch know for now that Baron is unlikely to have been started. But still converge back to the objective. Licorice even moving over. He's like, hey, look where I'm going.
Baron has been started. Cloud9 trying to burn it down. This is a Mountain Drake backed Kog'Maw and Cassiopeia trying to DPS here, but LirA sniffs it out.
Yep, Smoothie though has been great at keeping junglers out of the way. Might just try and start the fight. C9 don't want to overcommit into the Orianna ultimate. Clutch Gaming looking for the angle to start the fight. Licorice here first, though, getting mid lane pushing back.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous game to play. When you have these big AoE ultimates available from the Clutch Gaming side, the worst thing would be for Cloud9 to get themselves pinned in that small area of the Baron pit. It was a decent attempt, though, and you could tell that they were ready to pull off it at any sign of Clutch Gaming. So well played from both sides there for Clutch Gaming to stop them, you know, go and sniff it out, but also from Cloud9 pulling off the objective when they know that they've been found.
Yep, bought time for themselves though, so actually going to go recall, spend quite a lot of gold that they had built up. You can see 2 items, already mentioned Licorice, but both Jensen and Sneaky there as well.
Yeah, and this is a lot of free time here for Clutch Gaming. They're doing some good hard work to clear out a little bit of that vision and try and get some sort of advanced warning for themselves.
Scoop again, Licorice back in a mini-Gnar form. Good timing on this start. Barrel is there, but Solo hits it. Able to get that movement speed to run away. Gonna need it here versus the Gnar.
Yeah, Solo's starting to scale up here on the Gangplank, you know, after you've got your Sterix Gauge backed Trinity Force. Those two have great synergy. Sterix Gauge buffing up your base damage.
Oh, hello, Febiven. I would like your flash. Would you give it to me? Febiven says no. Has his bot lane there for safety. Now going to turn it back around. Doesn't pull the trigger on the shockwave though. Jensen instead is going to push this wave back as Clutch. Really nice defensive play actually around this Baron. C9 are playing patiently, but Clutch are making sure to get the information before they face check.
And it is
something I miss often.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tricky game to play if you're playing this from Clutch Gaming's side, because you're trying to poke and prod and keep enough vision so that they don't burn this Baron down. You know, with the Cassiopeia Kog'Maw Mountain Drake, the timing window is very small there, and it really does have a high risk because you also have a very difficult time face-checking Alistar Cassiopeia as far as the pickoff is concerned.
But Sneaky also has to go by. He's been out on the map for quite a while, threatening around the Baron area. Licorice roaming back into this mid lane, looking for a flank against C9, threatening for this Baron. Licorice here to cover. I think CT have to know that something's up. And there's the GP ulti. He's going to find a bit. C9 going to stick on the Baron and finish it. The fight ensues though. Licorice though, again, threatening the flank. TP in. It's Solo. TP, not great, but Apollo with a good ultimate. Finds Sneaky, pops his stopwatch. Go back in for the protection. He flashes out of the way. Good coverage by Sven with the Glacial Prison, and Cena might look to re-engage. Ulti though, 4-man shockwave's wonderful from Febiven, and that's going to call it off.
Yeah, they're going to just continue the chase right after that one. But all in all, very, very well played by Cloud9, and they're happy to get out of that with burning the double summoner spells on Kog'Maw. Clutch Gaming, though, having seen that and gotten that pick, which is a very good ultimate from Apollo, that's going to be their target, right? They'll take the consolation prize here of the Ocean Drake, and then when the siege comes, all eyes are going to be on Sneaky, on this Kog'Maw. He is the prime target, doesn't have either of his summoner spells or you know, any sort of jump on the champion's kit. And we'll have to see, will LirA, will Solo, will Febiven be able to get those big ultimates back onto Sneaky and try and take him out early on, because if they're not able to, this is a baroned up Cloud9 with a high-powered DPS backline that are coming for some inhibitor turrets.
Yep.
Because the secondary turrets should be the easier task for them to take, and I don't think that Clutch Gaming are going to make their big stand at one of the secondary turrets unless there's a big misposition from C9.
Taken one of them already as well, so have a better angle of attack here in mid lane. Licorice though getting things going in the top side, and C9 just playing back through top and mid, trying to find a pick. Decent vision here from Clutch is covering some of these moves, but C9 again just taking over and making sure they get the siege damage done.
All right, LirA on Gragas. Is he going to hit the ult onto Sneaky? You know, there's not any extra defense for Cloud9 to try and dodge that or, you know, protect him from it. So he's going to have to play fairly safe.
Plot wave also growing for C9, but not quite in position to threaten another tier 2. So actually wasting a little bit of time here with the Baron. Clutch again following them nicely through these rotations with some pretty pesky wards in key places, despite all the sweeping and control wards that Cloud9 have tried to put down. But still, they've got a minute left to try and break some of these turrets.
Yeah, and a minion wave will come every 30 seconds, so that's 2 more minion waves for them to push on. This one right now is a 2.5 stacked wave for Cloud9, so they should be able to power through.
This one should be straightforward. But what else are they going to get? Clutch decide to give it up instead. LirA gets clipped by an ultimate, trapped in the miasma. But he's going to get out eventually. Pretty tanky on the Gragas, despite having not too many items.
Yep, Clutch Gaming will soak that ultimate and get out just fine. Gragas can heal up very quickly. Cloud9, though, as we said, secondary turrets are the easy part. They get one on bottom, and now
Licorice at it again for the 1v1, but Solo winning pretty handily right now. Licorice with a flash. Solo doesn't get a crit on that one, but again, still dancing around. Licorice trying to get out of this situation. Gets the barrel, tries to get away, but has no flash. Solo should be able to get the kill. Parlay taking down the Gnar.
Revenge again there for Solo. On the top side, the turret so extremely low that Cloud9 will probably be able to get that gold pretty easily later, but Clutch Gaming do hold decently. They lose some of the gold, but make kind of the best out of a tough situation for themselves.
Licorice deciding I didn't have my Randuin's Omen then, so it does have it now, helping the 1v1 versus CP, and of course, no, it does want to get tanky after those first two side lane items. Clutch, so still keeping this game close, only 5,000 gold or so between the two teams, and Baron War up at Cloud9, only getting one out of inner turret actually. They already got one from before, so those inhibitors actually stayed very healthy.
Definitely true. See about a reset here, because even though there was a good defense by Clutch, one of the problems that teams will face after holding against a Baron's up team is that you've been cooped up inside your base past the 3-minute mark. So wards are expiring across the map, and it becomes a little bit difficult to try and re-establish a foothold on the map with which to try and create plays from. So they slowly want to move out, get some vision for themselves, and you can see them moving into the bottom half of the map right now to place those wards. Hakuho is going out, trying to get a little bit of an opening for themselves.
You can see, looks like pressure transfer to the top lane here for the Cloud9 duo. Licorice splitting bot still versus Solo, who went Essence Reaver with that first Zeal and now has a second Zeal. So Infinity Edge, if it's on the way, will be quite delayed, but Gangplank will still do plenty of damage without it. Sneaky able to steal that Gromp away, and again, Clutch have to move in pretty tight pack as a 3 or 4 man unit, but that's kind of what's required right now to let C9 not attack you. Licorice backing onto Solo, but seen this song and dance before. Let's see if this works any better. Ultimate drop. Licorice actually, I think, has enough. Still tanky with the Randuins, but can't actually get through the GP hole.
Yeah, most of it was the race from other people trying to join that fight. You could see the double roams down as both teams were kind of single file streaming towards the confrontation. Meanwhile, it looks like Febiven has backed up Solo, and they're duo farming that bottom side, so they're trying to push the wave back out. Cloud9, though, their main objective at this point during the lull is to establish that constrictive line of vision, and you can see them moving up a lot of control wards to eliminate that work that Clutch did right after the Baron expired. So that's where a lot of this Cloud9 vision denial is really coming from. Baron's up in 58 seconds, and they'll be able to start that one.
And I feel like we've seen quite a lot of this from C9 early this season, where the total map play has been really strong. You mentioned they're the team that takes the 3 outer turrets the fastest, and this is a pretty low kill game. Both teams even at 3 kills apiece, but Cloud9 have still built a massive gold lead just based on how well they've played the map. It is nice to see this team playing a little less bloodthirsty and with a little more brain. Reaper must be very happy.
Well, here we go. Brain is on attack as they engage onto Hakuho. They know that they don't have to expend any sort of extra resources to go for a player, though. They can just slow push on bottom side. Licorice is moving up with the Gnar. Then they can retreat back to the comfort of their control wards and try to bait again.
And that's exactly where we'll be. Solo still keeping the Gnar at bay, but Licorice getting even tankier with the Spectre's Cowl added. Baron is up in 3 seconds. And the DPS is there between the Cassio and the Kog'Maw. Cloud9 want to try a rush, but good ward there in the Pixel Brush. C9 haven't quite set up just as well as last time.
All right, big combination to try and look for from Clutch Gaming side would be the GP ultimate to land slow, and then LirA going in on that Gragas with his spellbook for the body slam flash play with the ball from Orianna on him, so that Febiven would look to land a shockwave on the back line. That is hard to pull off, and that's why we said they needed that coordination with his composition. But right now,
not gonna have time for the ulti. No flashes out, but doesn't burn it. Still healing up out of the way. Apollo with an ulti in onto Sneaky, but team there to protect him. Hakuho, no flash though.
And Taric very low. The big thing about Taric is the timing with your ultimate. Now he's so low, he's in danger of getting bursted before it gets down.
Oh, Smoothie again, look at the engage, Cosmic Radiance channel though. Clutch can maybe turn around, but Apollo almost goes down. Will die at the end for Jensen there as the poison ticks. And now Jensen on the attack, but the permafrost there stuns up LirA. A combo there from Smoothie nets Jensen the double. And they start the fight and get 2 clean kills, running straight back to Baron.
Yep, Cloud9's patience around the vision control pays off. They get the pick, and now on bottom side, Solo's trying to create something by himself.
Another 1v1. Licorice needs to be careful, can't get that barrel, but never mind for now. C9 happy to take the Baron instead. Clutch Gaming, no contest, and looks like Licorice and Solo pair away from each other as Baron number 2 goes over to Cloud9.
All right, Cloud9, another 3.5 minutes to try and work with the pressure. Here's it from the perspective of Seige. That's why we said it's so dangerous. You have to poke and prod. But Apollo walking up that close, he was trying to get into range of scrying orbing the Baron pit itself, but got into range of the engage here from C9. They come straight out of the bush. Once again, Smoothie does not hesitate. Flash on Alistar, gets to the back line. They kill him, even with the Taric ultimate eventually coming.
And this pressure looking a little better with the Baron buff for just under 3 minutes. Tier 2 in top lane falls down. Cloud9 now claims the 6 turrets here with all the Tier 2s falling. Now just have to break these inhibitor turrets and start getting those super minions rolling. Clutch though did defend well last time. We'll see how their defense holds up now, even further cornered back into their base.
Gotta think that a dive is actually a possibility here for Cloud9 if you look at the composition they have set up. So, prepping all the side waves first. You know, Licorice pushed up on bottom. They've sent Jensen on top. And then they will meet up, it looks like, around top side for that hard push.
Gold lead's also nice for Cloud9. Actually, almost 10,000 gold up, but they have a lot of gold in their pocket. Still Febiven, one-man ulti, finds the tank. And this turret's just going to get demolished here. The Kog'Maw is able to take that. Licorice again pressuring mid, so not far apart from each other. Inhibitor's starting to get exposed here, and Febiven does not have ultimate for a little while longer.
Yeah, using that one for some wave clear and a little bit of damage onto the front line that gets healed up immediately. It's a very big cost though, because as you said, the big play.
Oh, Sven's in, found one. It's Hakuho again. DPL's going to try and prevent the rest of that, but the inhibitor falls Cosmic Radiance down as Sven forced to get away. Licorice about to transform though, as Smoothie also popped his ulti. Apollo doesn't have Chain of Corruption, used it already in the fight. Cloud9 walk away.
A bunch of ultimates used, so the counter from Clutch Guardians not very threatening anymore, and Cloud9 able to leisurely walk out of the base. Their objective has been completed. Inhibitor on top side is done, and they have 2.5 more minion waves to work with this Baron, trying to push up and pressure mid, with that one being the next on the list. Now, you can also, right now, you see this minion wave on top side slowly moving up. This one for Cloud9 is the first of the super minion waves, so that draws pressure by itself. That's why Febiven walked halfway over there to try and deal with it before retreating over to the other side of the map to help out with his team, trying to set up vision. Because Clutch Gaming are looking for the one big counterplay, and they decided that was worth the kind of extra time investment and the risk.
Take their time to at least sneak Dragon away, so we'll take the second Ocean off the table. But the biggest of wins with Elder Dragon coming up next. But hey, might as well take it while you have some time off. You know, and they did also spend their gold after getting that pressure, so Jensen has a freshly bought Death Cap added as his 5th item, and still one full slot ready, Kobe. Don't need to buy pesky boots on Cassio.
Classic Cassiopeia. No boots. All right, well, let's take a look at the final siege here. Buffs up minion waves, and they're going.
Oh, face takes the ulti. It's going to go in onto the tank, straight in with the damage. And Smoothie just in there with the ultimate, trampling around. Still don't get CC'd for a little too long. Turret died, but Smoothie valiantly falls with it.
Consistent DPS there from Clutch Gaming under the turret, able to kill the Alistar through his ultimate. And with Smoothie down, that is going to cause a retreat here from Cloud9. It is another exposed inhibitor, but it's also another 30 seconds here for Clutch Gaming to try and stabilize.
Golem blue buffs over Jensen. My goodness, he does a lot of damage to that neutral. Max level now as well, although we are getting there in general for this game, so watch this one again.
All right, so the call is going to be for the engagement. They just hit the front line here, which isn't ideal, but it's hard to get anywhere past that. Meanwhile, turret is on Smoothie, so is Febiven auto-attacking and spellcasting on Orianna with Apollo's DPS and Solo. They are able to burn through and take down the front line to buy themselves a little bit more time to scale up, try and farm here for the next fight.
And although Orianna and Varus are a little far away, Solo is definitely getting there. He's more than 1,000 gold ahead of Licorice, which is pretty impressive given that the total deficit between the two teams is approaching 10,000 gold. So I assume that's an Infinity Edge as his next item there. Should be done relatively soon. If anyone can help bridge this game from late to late, it could be Solo.
GP, the champion was created as like, never mind. We won't go down that route. Meanwhile, Cloud9 back at the inhibitor, and we're going to have more action.
Oh, that's Apollo. This time getting stunned. Shane stuns Lambert. The Cosmic Radiance is down. Sneaky. Forced a bunch of ways. LirA pushes them out with the ultimate clutch. Not a bad fight out over. The going for the front line is Licorice. Gets the scoop, and he doesn't get anybody. Smoothie yet again with the Unbreakable will up, and Licorice now getting slowed. LirA wants to carry, but he has to be careful. Dazzle was ready. Shockwave lands. Hits onto Jensen, but they don't have coverage.
Smoothie again down for Cloud9, so this is another 40+ second death timer they're going to have to wait out. Really good counter there from Clutch Gaming. And you can see the power of that Gangplank you're talking about. Scaling comes through. He eventually is going to get his items. He has extra gold generation in the kit. Now he's got the big crits coming through. Infinity Edge is completed. He's got the full synergy with Essence Reaver, lowering cooldowns as well. And here's another look at how it started. C9 just barely inside. Licorice is coming, about to charge into Gnar. That's why they pulled the trigger here. They did dodge Apollo's ultimate there from the Varus, but they are able to get the counter here. Solo's going to move up. Gangplank ultimate slows him the entire way out, and the crit barrel does land just at the very end. They're able to hit him with the ranged DPS. Then a little bit of an overextension there from LirA. Has to flash out, causes a chase from Jensen, who gets hit from a shockwave, and they're going to back off at the end.
Well, not enough to take him down, but Febiven did finish his death cap thanks to all the time that they have bought. So a big purchase there for Orianna as the carries are building up to full items. Apollo also with 4 finished items, and Solo is done. So certainly fight there if they can find it, but gonna be tough. At least getting to a point where they can try and win some fairer team fights.
Yep, always happy to have the big threat of barrel chains in the late game. You can see the 1,300 plus damage explosions, and if that one chains back to either a Cassiopeia or a Kog'Maw, can definitely change the entire way the team fight goes.
Clutch are gonna maybe rush this Baron. This is one of the first times they've actually had vision in the area, but there's a control in the back of the pit that does see them. C9 going to try and poke them off. Clutch Gaming maybe overcommitting here. But ulti from Sven finds the jungler. LirA going to go back in. Doesn't get anyone really, but the healing still from Taric coming out. Gangplank ult is nice for the zoning, but reset fight.
Cloud9 did expend their Sejuani ultimate, but I think you're right. It's a very good exchange because 3 of the ults were used from Clutch Gaming, and now it's Cloud9 that wants to force the issue, knowing that so much of that zone control is down.
Yeah, and Clutch is shot out from vision as well. Jensen with a great miasma cuts that one choke off, and that's going to be Baron down. C9 just do too much damage.
Able to kite out right there, and that's the discrepancy in cooldowns. Well played by Cloud9, and the patience of this team that have one of the fastest, early games. In the late game, they also have been very calculated. And again, focusing on those objectives. Here we go, another Baron buff for themselves to push on some exposed inhibitors.
The advantage kind of keeps cascading here. It was 1 inhib last time, got the inhib turret down in mid. Now 2 inhibs ready for the taking. And of course, if they can find a one-sided fight, the game will shortly fall after. Clutch again have been very persistent, sticking in this game over 41 minutes. And at some point, they're going to flatten as far as gold advantage goes, and Clutch can find a way back into this game. It'll be a long one. They only have 1 turret, so just think about the sheer number of structures they have to knock down to get there.
Oh,
means that 1 fight won't end the game.
Here to start it off. The control ward's doing some work for Sven.
Yeah, Solo though not the best target, especially with no backup behind him. LirA playing very aggressively here. This Licorice also trying to find a flank. Big flank, actually. Not quite mega, but here comes the trap getting closed.
Licorice is a spell plus a couple autos away from transforming.
Licorice also maybe a little too far forward. The rest of the team going to collapse on him. Now he has to run out of the way as the Elder Dragon's getting started from Cloud9.
And Mega is popped from Licorice. So Cloud9, they want to be able to either use the Gnar now or wait a long period. They're forcing it.
Bit of a 50-50 around this Elder Dragon. GP ult expended. Solo gonna get tied up, not into the wall by Licorice. Is about to go back in the mini. They're trying to hold. They don't want to do extra damage to this Elder Dragon. Svenskeren is very tanky. Delicate fight here, but they don't have vision. Actually, the sweeper helping that for a little while longer, but Clutch can see it. Smoothie again, kicks the jungle around, and that's Cloud9 with the Elder Dragon. Licorice and Solo going to go to battle, but Sneaky should unleash hell in this fight. Solo just can't hold up to Licorice. Licorice flushed up to get the kill for Febiven. Does actually take down the Kog'Maw though, so Clutch Gaming can fight back. Smoothie down as well. Svenskeren going to be the next, but instead they go in for the Cassio. Jensen bumps the Seraph, gets his ulti down, but he doesn't have enough. Clutch Gaming may have just found the team fight to stay in this game.
Meanwhile, the aftermath. Licorice won his 1v1 with Solo, and he went immediately down to bottom lane to try and push up this wave. So Cloud9 applying that pressure, even though they lost both Sneaky and Smoothie. They're trying to use the Baron buff to get this minion into the last standing inhibitor turret and take it down.
Jensen lived as well as Apollo was here, but it's a 1v2 right now.
And they're collapsing as well through the jungle. Cloud9 see them on wards.
All right, 1v2, not so much anymore. LirA sped up there by the dissonance. Licorice spent the target's pretty tanky. Can they buy enough time? Licorice trying to hop out of the way, gets a boost from Svenskeren. They're just going to hoof it on out of there.
Slippery moves from Cloud9. Smoothie comes up big once again at the late game objective. Denies any sort of steal there, but Cloud9 still lost the 4v4 at the end, even with the Elder Dragon true damage buff. Good job by Clutch Gaming, trying to fight their way out of that losing situation. Now they're going to get a little bit of consolation gold for themselves out of this last standing outer turret, and it's just back to defense for themselves.
Well, see how this one started. Cloud9 did a good job getting this Elder Dragon, but the teamfight did not go their way.
So Smoothie uses his headbutt and his ultimate to allow the secure of the Baron. But then this late game Taric ultimate is so powerful, it allows good positioning for Clutch Gaming and a very good ultimate from Febiven to be able to shockwave in the DPS and get that kill. Meanwhile, good spacing there from Apollo, didn't stand too close, and they were able to kite out the last Q from Smoothie, so no knock-up there, and they secured the extra kill, which bought them some time, a little bit more breathing room in this game.
Yeah, Invulnerable LirA is pretty scary. Flies in there with the Gragas on top of Sneaky. But we'll see how this one develops. Cloud9 still with Elder Dragon for a little while longer, but it should run out by the time the next major engagement begins. Carries are stocked on both sides also. Still a little to go for Apollo and for Febiven, but again, Solo's been there for a while. They have the means to win this team fight, but we'll see if they've got the execution code.
All right, Licorice trying to charge up his Gnar, takes a bit of damage, and he gets rooted.
One, actually, it's definitely going to land in. Smoothie again trying to play defense, and Smoothie brings it back up. The Mega so the ulti from Ori only hits the two frontliners, but C9 expended their cooldowns. They don't want to force a fight right now.
It's interesting, because a lot of teamfight power was just used by Clutch Gaming, so Cloud9 could just wrap around and try and force here. All that Clutch Gaming have left is the Gragas ultimate, and that could be enough. Jensen has no summoners available on Cassiopeia, so he should be the target.
They're trying to take this inhib though, but they got to be careful. The Gangplank barrels target is LirA. Ground is dead. Sneaky able to shut that down. Inhib's going to fall. 4v5 for a minute here for Clutch.
Cloud9 very happy with this opening. Now it's a 5v4 power play inside the base. 2 inhibitors will be taken, and they could stick around to continue this siege. They still have the advantage here, and they're looking to end it.
Solo trying to bounce the barrels around, but C9 staying pretty diligent, either stepping away or hitting them down. Smoothie getting aggressive, threatens them off away from the Nexus turrets. Mega Licorice also looking for Febiven. Back with the shockwave. No, not just yet. Needs to find the angle. Sneaky onto the turret, takes it down. Pokey's incoming. Cloud9 need to be careful. LirA up in 20 seconds.
LirA about to come up. He does have flash, so Cloud9 back up a little bit, but LirA goes in for the trade. 2 more minion waves for themselves, and here come the super minions.
Licorice again, damage down. Still looking to try and close the game out here. GPL there, Smoothie finds a couple with a flash up from Apollo with a QSS is nice. Turret slowly, they might just go in straight for the Nexus. CG just can't get there right now. Sneaky able to hit the Nexus down, and Cloud9 with the power play win the game.
Great early game there from Cloud9 with their coordination on display. Smoothie with some roams early on, able to get them a secure lead. And then Clutch Gaming with some good defense to delay it that long. Scale up with the Gangplank. They're wave clearing, getting a couple good team fights to stall it out for themselves. But in the end, the calculated play here from Cloud9, baiting around Baron consistently, using the vision control to be able to get those small leads for themselves. Baron after Baron after Baron, and it finally results after Elder Dragon, and then resulting
in the Nexus explosion. So Cloud9 improved to 5-1, I believe, after this victory. Quite a strong surge for themselves, still in that first place.
Tied for first with Echo Fox as both the teams have finished their weekends. And Liquid, actually, excuse me. So everyone improving. Now a three-way tie instead. Although we'll have to see. I think Cloud9, though, you kind of saw why they were playing so slow. Yes, Clutch were able to find a lot of gold, flatten the game, get to a point where they could win a team fight. But even when they got something going, they had so much work to do to even get towards the inhibitors to knock down the Nexus. At Cloud9, as soon as one pick happened, given how far into the enemy base they were, they could just end the game.
And that's what we kind of talked about. This is a, there's a very high potential for this combination. If you look at the ultimates available and the team fighting, with Orianna, Gragas, Gangplank, and Taric, all coming through, but once Cloud9 were able to bait out a lot of those, long cooldowns for the teamfight ultimates, then they're able to move in and kind of turn the tides there. So, definitely well done from them. And this start of the season is extremely exciting as far as especially the top of the table, because Clutch Gaming definitely no slouch there as far as delaying.
I think, again, wanted to look at bot lane coming into this matchup, Sneaky and Smoothie, against a very stylistically similar bot lane, at least as far as how they've currently been playing. Smoothie, again, he just keeps doing it, man. Well, we'll send it over to May and Cloud9's veteran, AD Carry.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Sneaky. Now, there has been a lot of attention on you and Smoothie in the bot lane. Where do you guys pull your dominance and consistency from?
I guess it's just kind of been like a build-up over a long time with me and Smoothie playing together for, I don't know how long it's been, actually, like a year and a half, I think, since like 2016 summer. So we've been building a lot of synergy, just playing together, like living in the house, just becoming friends. So I think that honestly is the biggest part. A lot of these newer teams don't really play together besides like, Sven and Mythy. Like that's one of the other longest combos. So yeah, just a lot of playing together and just having fun.
Now, it looked for a second that Clutch Gaming was slowly coming back. What do you think of your opponents for today?
Yeah, they played it pretty well. It felt really hard to break open their base. I don't know if it's partly because, like Orianna's own, Kog'Maw is kind of weird hitting turrets when I don't have like a Tom Kench, and then they had Gangplank for wave clear. So it felt pretty awkward, but they're playing it pretty well too. We weren't able to get a lot of kills on them to break open the base easier. So they played pretty well.
Looking back, if there was anything that you could have changed in that game, what would it have been?
Hard to say, actually. There weren't any like huge mistakes because we got Baron twice, pretty much for free. Like we played pretty well around that, but then it seemed like we were matching the waves when we were pushing with the Baron. So I don't know. I'll have to look at the replay. It's pretty hard to think about like what exactly was going wrong for unable to break the base. And I mean, there's actually a lot of games where it feels like if you take the inhibitor, you kind of just lose out because it feels so hard to end the game. I don't know if it's just with the meta overall or something changed. Maybe minion dematerializer or something is like secretly affecting things. So it's actually felt really hard to end games. That's why a lot of people have been taking like Gathering Storm. Like I probably should have taken this game. I took like stopwatch, used it once at 30 minutes, got like 350 gold on my boots. It's like, okay, I'd rather have 50 AD.
Well, now you guys are tied. There's a three-way tie for first place. You, Echo Fox, and Team Liquid. Who you playing next week? How confident are you going into that match?
Which one are you playing?
Liquid.
Oh. I'm pretty confident. We've been scrimming Liquid quite a good amount, so we kind of know how they're doing, and I hope we can win against them. We got Impact, got to play against him and prove that he was wrong.
Well, how do you feel about the bot lane matchup then going into that?
Oh, yeah, it's Doublelift and Ale. They've been pretty well, or doing pretty well. They're pretty new together. Obviously not new to the scene, but it's always fun playing against Doublelift, in lane.
Sneaky, thank you so much for this interview. Congratulations on your win. And now back to the analyst desk.
Thank you, Avali. Sneaky there, I feel like, is kind of in the same headspace to a lot of people who just finished watching that game, where it's hard to kind of criticize or figure out where or how C9 could have won that quicker. And it did feel difficult, although never necessarily in danger of losing it. I'm in such a middle ground at the end of watching this game, and yet C9 is at 5-1.
It's a very funny game too, because we want to hype up the bot lane, and then they basically go even third into the game, same build path, same 0-0-0, 300 farm. We want to do mid because there's so many bans.
8 bans.
8 bans in the mid lane. Jensen's getting smashed a little bit in terms of HP, but keeps up in farm.
Right.
And then the game stalls out forever. So it was one where it's like, what are we trying to talk about here?
Yeah, and I think when Sneaky's a little bit perplexed, some of it does come down to the fact of how defensive the Clutch Gaming composition can be. Realistically, Cassiopeia and Kog'Maw have to walk up to do damage. And there's an Orianna ball sitting on the ground that if you walk over, you die. There's GP barrels that are getting chained. There's GP ultimates that are lasting for 8 seconds. There's Varus slow fields on the ground. You can't walk up. Yeah. So he actually said they got 2 barons. They got 3. He was trapped in that game for so long he forgot. Like, it was a very long, arduous process for C9 to win.
Yeah, you throw a Taric in there too for defensive tools, a Gragas who can disengage fights. It's so hard for C9 to find the game ender.
All right, Mark, you mentioned it. We kind of position this game as being the bot lane focus game. The team's going to champion select, putting a ton of focus into the mid lane. So we're like, hey, maybe that's where it's going to be. And then it turns out a lot of it is about the top lane.
It's GP Gnar. Anytime that you get this matchup, either GP doesn't die, and that's a huge factor, and he gets a massive gold lead through his passive gold generation, or this happens where he starts losing his turret 1v1, gets engaged on, gets solo killed, and then there's a big pressure gap up on the top side.
Yeah, and this play continues for a very long time. As Licorice is starting to play into solo, Orianna was actually on the bottom side of the map. So Febiven paths all the way up through the river, realizes he's almost going to get outran, probably should have taken the path through the river, then uses his flash ultimate, but all the while, there is a Rift Herald summon happening in the mid lane, and since not only has Ori pathed up there, for some reason LirA is chasing as well, so no one is capable of defending this mid lane turret, and they don't get 1, they get 2 turrets off the whole push.
And Mark, this is kind of a setup for then what makes the rest of the game feel weird, because we just saw a top turret go down, a solo kill, and 2 more kills in the mid lane.
Yeah, so you think that this is going to be a situation where C9 starts running away with this game as Dash dies a little bit.
Yeah, you made it. You're fine.
Yeah, he's all right. But it was a game where you start seeing that and you're like, all right, C9 is going to run away with this game, but there's wave clear in all 3 lanes. They get the Baron buffs off some very nice baiting, but they never can quite actually start taking inhibitors to generate pressure on their own.
Yeah, and if we talk about kind of what C9 needed to do, because C9's actually had pretty darn clean wins, all things considered. Kobe mentioned some stats at the start of the day. They have gotten the first 3 turrets in all of their games. They have gotten the first Baron in all of their games. They've gotten the first Dragon in all of their games. So in that way, they're very dominant, but they don't necessarily look as fast as Team Liquid, but it's, I think, because they take lower risk plays, and we have an example of that in this game.
Okay, yeah, so I was going to ask, when you're in this situation, you've hit the lull, where do teams break the game open? What is the tool you use?
Vision,
control, and bait. So
4 control wards set up in that river.
Yeah, 4 control wards. Apollo gets a little bit ahead of the rest of the team. Needs to get that trinket down in there, but he needs to let LirA get a little further ahead before he does that. He gets opened up on, dies at the tail end of this, and the rest of C9 is able to chase through and find kills. Very hard to do this if it's in a base with turrets backing you up.
Yeah, and the whole reason that was capable of working is because they had the 4 control wards that cut the vision out that far. So if you're going to check the first brush safely, you're probably giving them the Baron, and Cloud9 was playing that mind game with Clutch Gaming.
Yeah, Kog'Maw and Cassio means you need to react very quickly anytime you lose that vision control of Baron.
Look at that damage dealt by GP.
Yeah, well, it's because they're on the defensive the whole time. C9 has all the map advantages, right, with all the Barons and all the turret pressure, but they're very rarely able to actually fight Clutch Gaming. So Clutch Gaming has way more damage in this game. It's just it was always from the back foot and never fatal.
Slow win, but solid win for Cloud9. The one thing I want to talk about is a look ahead to that Team Liquid matchup. Now, 5-1 teams. What are we thinking about that preliminarily?
I'm not going to talk about the bot lane, so hopefully something happens in the bot lane.
There you go.
We tried to do that this game and nothing happened. So, I'm looking forward to the top lane matchup, Impact versus his replacement.
Yeah, actually, that is a sick matchup.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about, so I'm not going to tunnel on the bot lane.
Yeah, 3 5-1 teams now, with Echo Fox also being up there at 5-1, so a lot of teams kind of jumping ahead of the pack. But based on quality of wins, as we mentioned, Cloud9 dominating the early game in all of them, and then Team Liquid, the team with the 4 fastest wins in the LCS, I think they're the 2 strongest performing teams so far, and it's going to be, I think, a battle for perceived first. Depending on if Echo Fox keeps winning.
Yeah, and also potentially real first.
Way to suck the air out of that one, Chad, for perceived first. All right, I'm going to go get a drink of water. You do the same. We're stepping away when we return. Counter Logic Gaming and FlyQuest duke it out. Meet us here after the break.